What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to be playing some Dominion Online League, and things are looking pretty good for me after my last game, after my last match. And with this match, I'm about to play against the top dog, the best win rate out of all of the other players in my league. So this match is super important, and if I do well in this match, then I could definitely still win the league. So we are going to see how things can go here. Let me just check out my audio levels. Might want to turn that down a little bit for y'all. But yeah, let's see if we can find our opponent here. No, we're going to go to tables. And yeah, we are ready to do battle. So good luck and have fun. I'm going to be on the play in this first game. And we'll see what we can make happen here. Let me just make sure the stream is all set up correctly. Nope, let's put Dominion on the screen. There we go. All right, so let's take a second and look over the kingdom. I know Tomb is whenever you trash a card, you gain a victory point, and Way of the Goat allows you to trash cards for free. The actions in this kingdom are super expensive, so it's going to be hard to Way of the Goat. Though we might just, like any other actions that we can grab, make use of them via Way of the Goat. But this is a super expensive kingdom. So we probably are just going to gain a Conclave and a Silver on this first turn here. So not too much more to see. We'll see how the rest of it really shakes out, but it's gonna come down to how these cards fall out here, because the only three on this entire board and my opponent rips the Torturer on the first round through. So I'm going to have a Conclave and a Silver to their just Torturer. This isn't a huge deal, I don't think. But the +3 cards is going to be the annoying part of it. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit annoying, but we're able to catch up. We're going to be able to grab a 5 ourselves, and then we've got to decide, okay, do we want Swashbuckler? Do we want a Torturer ourselves? Grabbing a 5 here is obviously super lucky. We're not going to go Counting House. Let's take a look and just read everything else. All right, so letting our opponent know we're just going to read everything. So Bazaar is pretty good. Counting House, I think, is kind of terrible. Yeah, the next time you play a card this turn, you may first gain a copy of it. So it does allow you to gain silvers, which is cool. It will allow you to gain play something like with Grand Markets and Bazaars. The Kiln does seem like it's going to be good, though my opponent went for the Torturer. But they went for a Torturer when they had nothing else going on. And then Royal Carriage allows you to duplicate an action, but that's really only, like, we don't have enough actions yet in the deck. Swashbuckler is also super tempting. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm tempted to go Torturer because my opponent did, and I want to believe that maybe my opponent is right. Kiln gaining a Silver, I think, is going to be pretty good for us, and then, like, we just gain Bazaars and stuff, but then are we just ignoring the Torturer? Maybe the Torturer is right. Telling my opponent that I trust their judgment, that the Torturer is correct. And it does seem like it's going to be pretty annoying for us. At the same time, something like Bazaar will allow us to kind of really start goading and making our... Maybe Kiln is better. We make our deck really small, then we Kiln. Because I don't mind if I get Tortured, I discard, and then I just spend my turn goading. So let's grab a Kiln, because I think, like, if we have to Torturer this turn, the +3 cards is really going to be the big part of the Torturer. So if we discard 2, I think we just discard 2 cards here, and then maybe trash a Copper. Either trash a Copper or buy another Conclave. I think buying another Conclave could also be pretty good. But yeah, now we're just, like, letting my opponent have all of the good turns while we take all of the bad ones. We're probably going to get... we're going to draw 2 estates on the top of our deck next turn, so that's not super great. Though our opponent did not have a super good turn either. So here we either buy another Conclave. If we Conclave into Kiln, then we can play a Conclave again, but then we're getting too many Conclaves. The question is, do we want to just start trashing Coppers, get the Kiln silver action more out, get the Bazaar? I think so. I think we just want to... because we're also gaining a victory point anytime we trash a card, which is also pretty cool. Obviously, this turn really, really stinks, so that is unfortunate. But that means our next turn is going to be super good. Yeah, Conclave into Kiln into silver. We might have to toss our Copper here, but that's fine because we're going to be able to grab a gold or a grand market on this turn regardless. So, yeah, my opponent does have the Torturer. Oh, they use Torturer as a goat. Okay, so now we get to go... I could actually even grab a Province, but I don't think that that's what I want to do here. I think I want to grab a Grand Market and really start killing the Grand Markets and the Bazaars, because that's going to be really good. So this turn, I think we Conclave, Kiln, and we'll only have one buy. But this is fine. So let's go Conclave, let's Kiln, then let's play a silver. We get to gain a silver for free, and then let's just grab a Grand Market. Yeah, this sounds good. We're going to try to make a run on the Grand Market as much as we can here. Torture would be fine. Okay, my opponent's going to lay down a duplicate. That's pretty good too. I think we will want to duplicate because that'll allow us to gain more copies of these things that we know are good. I think on our turn, we will just... Yeah, I think we're just going to discard 2 Coppers here. We already have enough for 4, and we'll draw a card off the Conclave. This gets a little punishing if we draw the Kiln or something. Opponent with a 5 action here, and they're going to go for a Bazaar. Yeah, we want to grab Bazaars when we can, for sure. We will have 2 buys and 5 actions, but we're probably just grabbing another Grand Market this turn. Oh, we actually hit a little bit higher than that. You can't... Oh, I didn't even realize you couldn't get the Grand Market with a Copper in play. Oh, so this is great. We just won't play the Copper, and then we'll play the Grand Market. So silver was a great draw. I totally missed that part of Grand Market because it just wasn't relevant to me on the first time through. So that's pretty great. My opponent goes for another duplicate, and while I want to join them on the duplicating actions, I also really just want to get these estates out of my deck. They are really clogging up my draws here. So let's just grab that estate, and then we are good. And this hand already has enough to do some good things here. It's got 6. We won't be able to grab a Grand Market, but we could potentially grab like a Bazaar. I think we probably do want to grab a Bazaar here because we want one sooner rather than later. Let's see. Can we... Oh, that's right. We're going to draw a card off Grand Market too. So now I could use this as a way of the goat, trash the estate, and then still get either a Bazaar or a Torturer or even a Swashbuckler of some capacity. Royal Carriage also looking pretty strong. This kingdom is going to go big, and then somebody's going to grab all of the Provies at once. So I think we're fine taking our time just setting up here. Let's get rid of these estates. And then we do want some bazaars because we want some actions, but Royal Carriage also does that for us. But I think we just want bazaars in the deck. I think we want to be like golden decking, playing the same exact thing every single time. We will be able to duplicate and grab 2 Grand Markets this turn if we go ahead and gain a curse. So I think I'm fine gaining a curse. I think we'll have... I don't think we'll have a problem getting rid of it, is what I mean to say. Yeah, so now I can go Conclave into Duplicate, play my 2 silvers, and then grab 2 Grand Markets, which I think is going to give us a pretty good edge over my opponent. So let's play Duplicate, then let's play 2 silvers, and buy a Grand Market, getting another Grand Market. That seems like a good start, right? Okay, now we have Bazaar into Kiln, potentially into something else if we draw it off of the Bazaar. If we don't, then we will maybe just be trashing our curse, or maybe we'll be trashing our curse either way. Opponent going for all the Torturers, and I really don't feel too terrible about that. So let's go for a Bazaar. We draw a Grand Market, so now we can go Kiln, and the next time you play a card this turn, you may first gain a copy of it. So now I can play Grand Market, gaining an additional copy of Grand Market. So if I Way of the Goat, do I get it? I think I do, but I think I actually just want to play this here. Oh, yeah, it will allow me to Way of the Goat this. I think it's just so much gold on the table. I think I do want to play this and probably grab another Bazaar, because Bazaar Kiln is kind of the combo. So let's play it, and then I draw 2 extra coin here that I'm probably not going to make use of. I think I just grab a Bazaar, and that's good enough. All right, here we can trash some coppers. We don't want to gain too many curses now. Oh, wow. Okay, so that is certainly a little bit annoying. I think at this point we just gain a curse, and then I'm just going to trash the curse. The sooner we get through all these curses, the sooner we don't have to worry about them anymore either. So it's like kind of an interesting route that we can go to. Because we will just Way of the Goat this curse this turn. My opponent's going to grab all of the Bazaars, though, which kind of makes me want to go for that. But we will just do this, and then we will grab another silver. And we've got a really good turn this turn, so shouldn't be too big of an issue here. So let's start with, we should be able to Grand Market and then potentially even more this turn. So let's Conclave into Grand Market, grabbing a copper. Yeah, so I think we go like... I think we trash a copper, play a duplicate, play a silver, grab 2 Grand Markets, right? This should work. Trash this, play duplicate, play a silver, and now grab 2 Grand Markets. And my opponent is definitely beating us on the Bazaars, but we've got all the Grand Markets, and I think that that's going to make our deck significantly better than theirs. Though these Torturers are definitely awkward, and Torturer, Bazaar, we've allowed my opponent to grab all of those. So this could definitely be annoying. But if at some point, like a hand like this, we could just grab all the Grand Market, or grab all the curses. Yeah, my opponent's going to start grabbing these Torturers here. All right, so let's see what we can do before there are too many curses that we have to deal with here. So this is a hand with 13. We're definitely going to grab the last 2 Bazaars, because those seem pretty important to both what I want to do and what my opponent wants to do. So I guess we just grab 2 Bazaars and a silver, eh? The other play would have been, yeah, Grand Market, nothing. So I guess we just have to go 2 Bazaars here. Let's grab them, and that way we can start doing this same thing that my opponent is doing. And I think we'll be able to even do it a little bit better than my opponent can, too. With a hand like this, I think we do just want to gain a curse in this hand because we can trash it easily enough. Conclave into Grand Market allows us to quite easily trash a curse. And we could even still play a Grand Market here. All right, let's play the first Grand Market. We hit a Bazaar. That's pretty good. Yeah, this should be good enough. Okay, and duplicate again. So let's go Grand Market, trashing the curse like we do. Duplicate. And then we can buy Grand Market. We can grab another Grand Market. And we do have to watch because this game is almost over with the amount of piles that are gone. But I think we will be able to capitalize on the end game much more efficiently than our opponent here. I think our deck is significantly better. Their torturers are annoying. That is for sure. But this is like their big turn and they're hitting 5 here. Whereas I think our big turn... Okay, so they're grabbing 6, grabbing a gold. This hand already has 6 in it, and we haven't even drawn from Bazaar yet. So now this hand has 8, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I think we're just going to buy a Pravi. Because this game's almost over. The other play would be... buy a torturer ourselves. It would be scrap the curse, grab a torturer. Or a gold. I don't hate that either. We also have to think about Fairgrounds. It's worth 2 per every 5 cards. So I have Conclave, Duplicate, Kiln, Grand Market, Bazaar, Copper, Silver, Province, Fairgrounds. I would only need 1 more card. I would need like a gold. And then Fairgrounds is worth 4. But that's not super impressive. I think I want a Pravi here, but I also think I want to get rid of this curse. So let's go ahead and get rid of the curse. I think that's going to be good for us. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and grab ourselves a Torturer. Because we've got a lot of Bazaars too. My opponent has most of the Bazaars, but we also have a lot of them. Torturer here is interesting. I think I just gain a curse because I think I have more than enough ways to trash in my hand with Bazaar plus Grand Market, drawing into some more stuff. I will just gain another one. I think that's better than messing with my whole turn. That's annoying, but I guess I'll gain 1 more curse. If we just run out the curses, then we don't have to deal with it anymore, and that's basically all I'm thinking about here. My opponent does still have 1 more Torturer in their deck. If they torture us again this turn, that would be really annoying, but I would be forced to grab the curse here. But see, my point is my opponent doesn't have a... Okay, well now they're able to grab a province. Instead, they're going to grab the penultimate Grand Market, or I'm sorry, the last Grand Market, and... will they... I mean, the game is really close to being over here. I might be able to end the game and win on my turn by buying all of the curses. I don't really see that being possible, but it's something that we want to keep in mind right now for sure. So my opponent grabs a Grand Market, and then they're going to go ahead and end their turn. All right, so let's start with Bazaar. And we're going to play 1 Grand Market for real. We're going to play another Grand Market for real. And then we get to play a Bazaar for real. Okay, and now we're going to play 2 Grand Markets trashing these curses. We have 3 buys. Hold on now. No, because if I buy 4 more curses... If I buy 4 curses and a province, we win. I'm just double checking my math here. Yeah, how would we not? Okay. Wow. Okay, well this has got to be enough, right? So I think what we can do here is buy all 4 curses. That will end the game. And then we buy 3 provinces. And we win 19-5. There we go. We bought all the curses and won the game. So yeah, that was pretty nicely played. We are going to end this. That was what my opponent said to us there. Nicely played. That was scary to do, but we end the game with 7 curses, 4 of which we purchased on the last turn, 3 of which our opponent gifted to us. But that was pretty scary and a pretty fun win. Yeah, that was a really sweet win. I just told my opponent that it was scary to win like that, but thank you for the confidence there, Frank. Yeah, that definitely felt like a cool strategy, but there's a part of that that's like, wait, is this right? Is this wrong? Because I do not want to mess this up. So Fortress, I believe when you trash it, you get to put it back into your hand. That is pretty epic. So Fortress is going to be really powerful here. Thank you very much, Frank, for the follow. My opponent goes for the Fisherman off the rip. I have to say, I do feel like that's going to be strong, but my opponent has a 3-4 start, whereas we have a 4-3 start. So if we grab the Fisherman here, we're going to have to grab probably the Chapel on the next turn, but Chapel seems great. So my only question is, like, could Fortress potentially be better than Fisherman? Wayfarer also gives you... Oh no, it's the same as the last card gained this turn. Let's just double check all the... Alright, let's just double check that we're totally familiar with all the cards in the kingdom. Reveal cards from your deck until you reveal a treasure. Discard it or trash it. I like Loan. I like Loan a lot. Menagerie is really funny. My opponent says this kingdom is pretty limited. No additional buys. And yeah, that does look like it's going to be the case. No buys and no real way to gain either. Or gain. Yeah, so no gain or buys in this kingdom. So that's really interesting. Wayfarer being the only way to gain. There is plus actions with Fortress. Alright, well, don't want to keep my opponent waiting too long here, but what's the best thing to pair with Chapel? I understand the appeal of Fisherman, because it will keep my deck svelte. I do wonder if just Fortress Wayfarer is going to wind up being too slow. I think I'm going to grab a Fisherman here as well. And I believe my opponent is going to grab a Chapel on their turn. Oh no, they grabbed a Temple. Okay, so they are interested in the alternate way to gain victory points in this kingdom. So you gain a victory point, trash 1 to 3 differently named cards from your hand, and add 1 to the temple supply pile, and then when you gain this, you get to gain everything that's on the temple supply pile. I'm just going to go ahead and grab Chapel. I know Loan is also in the kingdom, but I think Chapel is going to be a little bit better for us, and this winds up being great. I actually get to trash an extra copper, and then still get to buy a Fisherman there on that turn. We are playing with all the expansions, so I believe my opponent is allowed to ban cards and things, but they decided not to. But this is just random, all expansions, all types of everything, no preferences on the actual cards that we see, just whatever happens, happens. I'm interested in the fortress now that I am taking the chapel route. If you get 2 fortresses, then you can... Well, that doesn't really give you anything, does it? Okay, I might need to retool that. So Conspirators, if you played 3 or more actions this turn, +1 card and +1 action. So it's really good with Fisherman. Okay. Okay, yeah, now if we can draw into the Conspirator, we can actually have a really good turn this turn. Menagerie says your whole hand has to be different. Yeah, that seems really tough to make work, especially if they don't pick up the Chapel, but this is great. Conspirator, and now we can Chapel, and we can trash any number of these cards. That is pretty juicy. So what I'm thinking here is I trash everything and grab a Fisherman. It's going to make my deck really, really small, which I think is really good. I'm also tempted to grab a gold here. I could just start grabbing Conspirators now. They're just as good as Fisherman if I can draw the Fisherman first, but I think I want to have the ability to draw the Fisherman first, and by that I mean I just want to have more Fishermen than I have Conspirators. If my opponent makes the Temple pile too big, we will snag it from them. But for right now, we'll just go Fisherman, Fisherman, Conspirator. And now we can do a pretty similar play to our last turn. Fisherman is the last card in our deck. I'm very tempted here to just trash everything. Grab a Conspirator. That will leave me with a deck that has exactly 9 victory, exactly 9 coin. And then I think I just grabbed Conspirator here, and now I think I'm in a really good spot. So I think what we will do here is grab Provies, and then if I ever miss, then we'll consider grabbing something else. But at this point, I can play Fisherman, Fisherman, Conspirator, Conspirator. Oh wait, am I at 7? Oh, I am. Oh, okay, so I did the math a little bit wrong here. So I'm tempted to say, like, I should go Wayfarer or just have some other drawl or something in the deck. My opponent gained the Temple last turn, so they basically gained a province off of it. That strategy might wind up being more powerful than ours. Alright, my opponent grabs a Conspirator here, so we have to hit the Fisherman, but we have 3 Fishermen. And then once we do this, then we can grab the Conspirators. So I guess I grab a province here. I just know this is going to fall off at some point, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to do when that happens. But my opponent's ability to win through Temple, I think, is going to be a little bit tricky because we can always just scoop up the Temple ourselves. So for now, I think that this is good enough to just play all the Conspirators. And we'll see. We'll see how this goes. As long as we draw 2 Fishermen in the opener, we're basically like guaranteed to hit. I'm not sure what I throw in as the other card in this kingdom. If my other card should be a gold, if it should be a Wayfarer. I do feel like a Wayfarer eventually could be good. But for now, I think I'm just going to keep buying provinces until I get unlucky. And we'll see what happens. This turn can do it again. So, yeah, it's not looking too bad. Maybe Fortress, maybe a single Fortress is the way to go. Obviously, my opponent is keeping up very well with us here. But yeah, like I said, for now, I think I'm just going to keep buying provinces. So if my opponent buys a province, I get to buy a province too, and then we win. So my opponent's in a tough spot here. If they go Temple, Like if they just buy the temples, then that puts us in a tough spot. So I think they will just claim the temple this turn. Though we'll see. Like purchase a temple. Are they going to purchase a temple here? So I think that that is what they will do. Temple's a pretty good trasher. Yeah, they gain the temple. So now if I buy a province, then they can buy a province, and then they win. So what happens if I just, like, buy a duchy? I don't love that. I feel like that's leaving a lot up to... I mean, it's not like we know we're going to be able to buy the province on our turn. The more we just buy these duchies and things, the awkwarder our future hands are going to get. Turn 12. They're also going to gain a victory point from playing the temple, which means duchy isn't even enough to do it. Because we buy a duchy, then if they play a temple and buy a province, then we'd have to buy a province just to tie. So I think I almost like just getting the province here, but I think I do have to just grab a duchy. We know the top card of our deck is a Fisherman, which is a great sign. We know we're drawing at least one Fisherman next turn. All right, that's enough that I should probably just go for it. We drew 3 Fishermen, so that is really good. Let's see if my opponent is able to do it as well. We've got Fisherman, Fisherman Conspirator, Menagerie. Seems like they are probably going to do it then. Oh, but they weren't able to do it. Oh, thank you very much for the bits, Frank. I appreciate that. My opponent buys a duchy, which means I think we've got him. So Fisherman, we just have to draw one more Conspirator, and we should hit that now. Perfect. Wait, we need one more. Wow! We did not get there. Wow. Okay, we didn't get there. We needed to draw one more even. Oh, that's frustrating. Well, that stinks, but I think I'll just buy another duchy here. This turn's obviously going to be absolutely horrible. I think we'll just grab a Guardian because it's gained to your hand and gives you an extra gold the next turn. But this is not looking great. They're going to be able to buy at least a duchy here. Yeah, they're going to be able to kill us. And they got the second game. So game 2 goes to them. We are 1-1. And I think my opponent just recognized that Temple was a little bit better than we did, but we're going to be on the play this game, and let's go ahead and take a look at this kingdom. Camel Train is a card that I'm a big fan of, but let's read the arena first. The start of your buy phase may discard an action. If you do, you get 2 victory points. So this really rewards you for having excess actions at the start of the game. The first people to start throwing away actions for victory points get to do some cool stuff. Replace is pretty cool. All right, let's see what happens. Actually, I don't know what... Reveal cards from your deck until you reveal a treasure or action. Put that into your hand or discard the rest. Messengers +1 buy. So this kingdom's going to go big. This kingdom's going to go big for sure. Swashbuckler. I think we want to get to replace as soon as we can. The real question is, like, do we want a Camel Train at all? And is there any trashing other than replace? Doesn't look like it. Now and at the start of your next turn, play a non-duration, non-command card from the supply up to 4. Leaving it there. Up to 4 is definitely a drag on that. We really just have to decide if we want replace or not. And I think we just want Messenger because it acts as gold. It also is buy. We can turn the Messenger into a gold or something later on. With the actually we want to change fortresses into golds with replace. So we want all of the fortresses. But we also need the replaces ASAP. So maybe... Oh, I didn't even realize we can messenger and then get something else going on here as well. I guess I will messenger and give us both like a walled village or something. Yeah, we both get a walled village. That seems fine to me for right now. And then I'm probably going to otherwise focus on silvers. So my opponent is going to go for a messenger and everybody gets a farming village. But then I'm going to go for a silver. Camel Train is definitely tempting, but I just want to get a replace as soon as we can here. We might be able to buy a replace this turn. Actually, yeah, we definitely will be able to buy a replace this turn. My opponent goes for a silver as well. So Farming Village just draws us a copper, but that is more than good enough. And yeah, I'm going to take a replace. So replace lets you trash a card, gain a card that costs 2 more than it. And if you gain an action or treasure, it goes onto your deck. If it's a victory card, your opponent gets cursed. Some more farming villages for everyone. And now I just want to buy fortresses whenever I can. Let's discard the deck to get the replace shuffled in, and then let's buy our first fortress. So yeah, we can top deck this. This is fine. At some point, we might want to steal from the arena. Depends what... Like, this hand looks like a fine hand to steal from the arena. Though also, if we hit one more... Yeah. So this hand, we can go, like, Walled Village. Then we can Messenger, buy a replace, and then steal from the arena by discarding our fortress. Assuming we hit a copper off of this. No, we hit an estate. I do think I want a second replace. I think that replace is just really good in this kingdom, and I think we're going to want another one. So I'm going to try to draw it. We draw an estate instead. That's fine. Let's just buy another fortress, and let's keep all of this going. Buying all of the fortresses is also going to be super important for this strategy. I might go ahead. We'll see what I draw off Farming Village, but I might replace the silver and grab another replace, considering the silver only exists to grab replaces, as far as my intention of it. The problem is that doesn't really leave us with much of anything else here. So at this point, like, I'm either tempted to play a replace or buy a replace and steal from the arena. That would probably be better than trashing my silver. The other play is... Yeah, I think I like that. So we end actions, we discard replace, and then buy another replace. I think that's going to be pretty good. And now replacing estate is really good. My opponent trashes an estate and grabs a farming village, which is interesting. Because I feel like you want to just grab as many fortresses as you possibly can in this kingdom. Yeah, this will be 2 fortresses this turn. We trash this, grab a fortress, play messenger. Let's keep our deck and buy another fortress. So now we're going to start replacing fortresses into gold, and then replacing those golds into pravis wherever we can. It is a little bit awkward when you replace a curse into an estate, then you also get to give a curse. So you don't want to start cursing your opponent too quickly here. And my opponent going for the Swashbuckler. Let's go for Farming Village first. Now I think we steal from the arena and grab another fortress. I think that seems good enough here. We are going to want to start replacing soon, but I really want to replace fortresses, which is why I have picked up so many of them. Let's Walled Village. Let's replace our fortress, which returns it to our hand. That gives us a gold. Then we can play Fortress, and we drew the gold because, right, we just put it on top. And now I think I just grab another gold here because that's gonna make it really important that we have access to gold in our deck so that we can start replacing our gold as soon as possible. Is Arena once per turn? Yeah. Have to imagine that's once per turn. So my opponent just did the same thing, and they're going to be able to use their fortress to draw their gold as well. I didn't quite realize that part of the combo. But yeah, it still works out with that's what I wanted to do last turn. My opponent buys another gold. So very similar turn to us. It's Walled Village. And let's just do this same thing. Fortressing, and now we have access to 5. And my opponent also took from the arena last turn. But I'm going to go ahead and grab another Replace. I just think Replace is really strong in this kingdom. Hopefully I'm not proven too wrong here. But basically, whenever we can replace a gold, I think we're going to do so. My opponent now on 2 replaces. This is 7. 7 with 1 buy. Don't love that. My opponent took the last bit from the, or second to last bit from the arena. I think I'm just going to grab a gold. As much as I don't love that here. Okay, this is so cute. I have to show you. Okay, Woodrow was climbing his little ladder, and he fell off. But it was really cute when he was doing it for a second. Yeah, let's grab a gold. I think just grabbing the most expensive card helps when you're playing these replace kind of strategies, because it means that you'll be able to always have like the most expensive option to be able to trash or whatever. Opponent grabs a second Swashbuckler and grabs the last bit from the arena. All right, so now we have to decide if we want potentially do some crazy stuff this turn. If we replace Fortress, grab a Replace, then we could do it like multiple times. You understand what I'm saying? Though we also have enough to just buy a province too. Like we just have enough. Let's draw one more card off this. Okay. We are going to have multiple buys with this hand as well. If we get rid of the gold, we curse them, which is sweet. And then we have access to 1, 2, 3, only 3 coin. So if we hit a 4th coin here, we'll be able to buy another fortress. Seems like it might be okay. Yeah. So let's just messenger. Do we want to discard our deck? I don't know enough about what's in the deck. Let's just keep it. And then we're going to trash the gold, grab a province, and buy a fortress. All right. Yeah, that seems like it was probably good enough of a turn. It did give them some things to swashbuckle. It allows them to start gaining coffers, but I think that's going to be the case regardless. Swashbuckler is really good in this kingdom because we have so many actions. So I could definitely see wanting access to a swashbuckler eventually. But it looks like we're doing okay for now. We've got enough for a province. The arena's all done, but let's just go ahead and grab another province. I think this game is going to be able to end pretty quick now that we are like deciding that we're trying to end it, because we should just be able to replace a gold a lot of different turns here. While my opponent able to replace the fortress for a gold and then still buy a Pravi. I think we can actually do the same thing here. We replace the fortress, grab a gold. No, because we don't have enough actions. We need to draw another action off of this fortress, which specifically we needed to draw another fortress. So that seems really good. 1, 2, 3, just double checking my math. Yeah, so we can trash this, grab a gold, fortress, messenger. We're going to keep and then autoplay. And we could do something interesting here, like swashbuckler. But I don't really know what that would be. We could do camel train plus gold. I think we just buy a province. I feel like the game is going to end really quickly now, and we want to be a part. We want to be there when it happens. So my opponent replacing a gold for a province, so we get cursed, and that was their whole turn. Okay. Farming village into replace. Let's go with... It's fortress first. So unfortunately, this is only 7 if we trash the fortress to grab a gold. Then we have access to 7 with 1 buy. So I don't like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and fortress first. See what we draw. Okay. So now I'm inclined to just like curse my opponent. And we could potentially win by running out other piles here. We can run out the farming village pile. We can run out the curses in the estates. So let's go ahead and trash this. Oh, sorry. We are going to gain... Oh, interesting. I could just decide to gain a swashbuckler now. Maybe I do want 1 swashbuckler. Or 1 more replace. That's a little tough. I think I want all the victory points. I think that this game is almost over. And I think that, yeah, we're up 9 on our opponent right now. I think that we can definitely make this game get close to ending. This turn I'm going to buy a messenger and give both players a farming village, I believe. Swashbuckler's I'm definitely feeling like I might have missed the boat on the swashbuckler, though, to our detriment. Opponent able to buy a Pravi here, and then they'll be right behind us. So that is awkward, but I'm going to stay in the course here. And I think I'm going to buy... Awkward part is like we just shuffled our deck. I think because we just shuffled our deck... I mean, I could discard my deck and then throw a replace or throw a swashbuckler in. But I think I'm going to keep the deck as is and just buy a duchy. Because like I said, I do have faith that this kingdom can end so quickly here. Whenever we draw a replace, we should be able to get a Pravi. My opponent is in like a really awkward spot where if they get a Pravi this turn, then... So they're grabbing a province. Oh, wow, they grabbed both of the last 2 provinces. That's what I was afraid of. They had a really good draw there at the end. We should have grabbed swashbucklers earlier on, unfortunately. But we're only down by 1. We're 1 and 2 right now, and I think we can still figure out how to make all this work. But my opponent is definitely sharp, and we shouldn't let the fact that we stole that first game have us be too cocky here. So this game has a Piazza. The start of your turn, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an action, play it. We can also gain a gold for some debt. So we can just use our early turns to gain gold. We can Inventor for Hostelries, Inventor for Silk Merchants. There's a Sentry on the board. So this is a really powerful kingdom as well. There are buys. There are ways to gain actions. So this kingdom really has everything. And we've got a 5-2 with a Sentry opener, as does my opponent. Okay, sure. Let's both grab Embargo Sentry and see where this goes. Honestly, I might grab Treasurer. The problem is if I don't grab Sentry immediately, then my opponent might embargo it. My opponent has had a 5-2 on 2 of these games, but so have we. I really love Treasurer. I think Treasurer is super powerful to have an additional... Yeah, I think the problem is if I don't grab the Sentry, Sentry gets embargoed by my opponent. And is it purchase or... Yeah, buy. So you can circumvent embargo with Inventor and potentially Inventor Hostelry. And also Exorcist, right? No, never mind. I'm getting confused. Lookout is look at the top 3 cards of your deck, trash 1, discard 1, put the last one back. So there's lots of ways to trash in this kingdom. We don't necessarily need Sentry to be trashing. And Treasurer is so powerful. I just put out a video on my YouTube channel talking about how insane OP Sentry is. Let's just read Cartographer just to do our due diligence. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck, discard any number of them, then put the rest back in any order. So that's just like a worse Sentry. It's a Sentry that doesn't allow you to trash. You just can't go wrong with Sentry on turn 1 here, and potentially we're going to be able to Treasurer with this as well. So they embargoed the Sentries like we thought they might, and then they bought a Treasurer. So there we go. Let's go ahead and trash these coppers, and then I think we go ahead and gain an Inventor. I'm also interested in the Hostelries, but I think we'll just gain an Inventor off the bat here. So let's go ahead and do that. And unfortunately, we're not going to be able to Treasurer. So my opponent has a huge advantage on us right now. And I'm tempted to embargo on Inventor. But the problem is I want another Inventor. What did my opponent just buy on that turn? They bought a silver. Yeah, I want Inventor is kind of an issue. Maybe I can take one curse to control all of the Inventors. We're going to try to get all the Hostelries. Get a bunch of horses through that. And then eventually we can go Hostelry, Inventor. My opponent just doesn't really have a need for Hostelry. It feels like such a trap to... Alright, let's just do this. And grab one more Inventor. So this turn we should be able to Sentry, Inventor for Hostelry, and either discard 3 coppers or discard no coppers and just get another Treasurer. Yeah, that's what I was debating, just embargoing that. Oh well. Alright, Sentry. Let's trash these estates, and now we Inventor, grab Hostelry, discarding all 3 of my copper. Is that better than just buying another Inventor? That would give me 3 horses in my deck, right? Yeah, I really want to get a Treasurer. Alright, so that gives me 3 horses. And I'm not going to make use of my buy. I think I'm going to like make the same play this turn, potentially. Let's do this. Actually, I think I am going to go for buy 1 more Inventor. Alright, so this turn we should be able to draw a decent portion of what we got going on. I want to purchase a Treasurer so that we can join my opponent with that. This is exile a card. Oh, no. Receive a boon. If it doesn't give +1, each other player may receive it. Okay, that's really interesting. Opponent going for Inventor Hostelry. Yep, that's fine. We do want to consider the Piazza, actually, at some point, too. Maybe we can Inventor for Hostelry, then Inventor for Treasurer, and then purchase the Piazza. Though at that point, I might even consider inventoring for an additional Sentry. It is still worth it to buy a Sentry because you get to trash that curse so quickly after that it totally makes up for itself. Okay, this is great. This is a great start. Let's Sentry, trashing this copper. Okay, Hostelry. So now I have 3 actions. What is left in my deck? I'm going to be able to play 3 Inventors. So I will be able to easily grab a lot of different stuff here. Yeah. I'm actually just considering if I want to discard these coppers to get more horses in my deck because that allowed for this explosive turn. But I don't think I need to because these 2 coppers are going to allow me to buy a Treasurer or a gold. Right? No, not a gold, but a second Treasurer. Yeah, I think we grab Sentries with all of our Inventors. And then we buy a Treasurer. I think that's the play. So now we'll be able to get all of these coppers out of my deck. We'll be able to Inventor for all of the Hostelries, potentially. Okay, my opponent takes the key. So we'd love to try to take the key back this turn, if possible. Okay. We're going to keep all that on top. We're going to have a bunch of actions. And now we are just inventoring twice. And then with 3, I think these are going to become... So let's see. Yeah, we can't buy the Piazza because this doesn't reduce the cost of the Piazza. So we could use it to grab another Treasurer. We could use it to grab like another silk or a silk merchant, not another one. Yeah, let's make them into horses. Then let's grab 1 more Sentry. And then I guess I can purchase an embargo for free at the end of this. So let's go ahead and do that. We've got a bunch of horses. We will be able to steal the key from my opponent on this turn. And yeah, the goal is to have like a bunch of Inventors. Maybe I should be grabbing more Inventors too. So they're grabbing a Hostelry. Yeah, because if you can just grab all of the Inventors and Hostelries, means you can end the game really quickly at your discretion. And it also means you can pick up a province on the cheap despite trashing all the coppers from your deck. So my opponent grabs 4 horses for their deck. Alrighty. Let's start with Sentry. I guess we're like barely trashing anything at this point. Let's just confirm discarding. Let's play a horse. Let's play a sentry. All right, we'll trash a copper. We actually do need to discard this. Unless we start grabbing silk merchants. I guess we can just start grabbing silk merchants with our inventor. I don't love that, actually. Maybe I do. Yeah, let's discard this. See if we can draw something a little bit better off of this, like another hostelry. That is absolutely perfect. I feel like we're almost just done here, but I think we should spend our horses while we got them. Yeah, that's great. I'm just going to discard a horse rather than draw it. Okay, and we hit embargo. So now we can play all of this. So 1, 2, 3. Everything's going to be 2 cheaper. So I will be able to buy a province this turn. This is really interesting because I can embargo anything. I am going to grab a hostelry and put another horse into my deck, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, I need this copper. Oh, I do need this copper. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab... We're just... Unless we do anything else, but I just want to take the key. So I've got no clue what I want to... Let's definitely grab this. Confirm discarding. I think an additional buy could also be really sweet. And then I think we Inventor. I'm definitely not doing it on the province. Let's do it on this. Let's take the key. Let's end my actions and then buy a Pravi. All right, so we end with a villager and a coffer still. I put it on the silk merchant just because I really didn't know where else to put it. My opponent is going to Inventor for a hostelry. Like I said, this game can end pretty quick as well, so that's something else to consider. Start with sentry. Let's trash a copper. Do I want to discard a horse? I think I actually want a horse right now. Okay. Yeah, treasure is just too good. Let's just keep all this stuff. Sentry is all fine. I think we just confirm discarding on the horse at this point. I'm tempted to like Inventor for an Inventor and then see if I can draw it again this turn. I don't think I can end the game this turn, but I think I can get pretty dang close, which is certainly interesting. All right, we confirm trashing on this. Confirm discarding. Hostelry. Now I think I like run out the silk merchants. But I think before we do that, I'm going to Inventor for another Inventor. Silk merchant. I only have 2 buys right now. And unfortunately, I came just short of being able to Inventor naturally for the province. I will be able to... If I grab the Hostelry here, discard this, put one additional horse into my deck, Treasurer. I think I just do nothing. Actually, let's grab a copper, actually, rather than do nothing with the Treasurer. I don't know if it's not working. Okay, yeah, it didn't work for some reason. But I think this is good. Make use of our second buy and just grab this duchy here. The game's like really close to ending, but there's not really that many buys in this kingdom. It's just silk merchants for buys. Maybe now I can Inventor for silk merchants, draw through the whole deck, and I think I should be able to end this turn in some pretty big fashion. I think we should be able to do something nasty here. My opponent is going to be able to take the key from us, which is a little bit annoying. They'll take the key and then potentially buy a Pravi or two. Pravi Duchy. Okay, so we're up on victory points. I think we can get rid of all the silk merchants this turn, as crazy as that sounds. So let's Sentry. This is fine. We're going to just play all of our horses. All right, so I've got four Inventors. I can grab Inventor, then I can grab all the Sentries. 2, 3, 4. Right? I grab Inventor. Then I grab... If I just buy all the Sentries, yeah, I'm up by 11. 1, 2, 3. The last Sentry will cost 1. And I buy it along with a curse. Oh, I have this as well. Let's just grab this. I'm just double checking. Yeah, this ends the game, gives me 1 curse, and I win. All right, so we found another really surprise win, but it looks like I'm winning the games where we get to end 3 piles, and my opponent is winning the games a little bit more naturally. So now I am going to be on the play here for the last time in Game 5. Yeah, a pretty nice win yet again. We've got University. We've also got Groundskeeper. Let's take a look at the kingdom. So first things first, I like to look at the landmarks. 4 per differently named action card you have 3 or more copies of. So we're going to want 3 Groundskeepers. We're going to want 3 Laboratories. We're going to want 3 Royal Carriages, 3 Islands. Okay. Way of the Mule says that if we draw too many cards, we can turn extra actions into +1, which I think works out really well for Groundskeeper. University's the only way to... Oh, but we could University... So we could Potion for University and then use that to start graining. All right, we're definitely going to want a Potion with this kingdom, that is for sure. So, but we drew a 2-5 split. Wow. Okay, was not expecting a 2-5 split. Let's see, do we want Livery? This card, when you gain a card costing 4 or more, gain a horse. I think so. I think we want Livery, but I reserve the right to change my opinion. My opponent goes for the silver, so they are going to be able to potion into university. But I think we just go livery. Is there any trashing in this kingdom? Engineer trashes itself. Changeling trashes itself. Menagerie, no. I guess it's just island, huh? When you gain this +2 and +1 buy, and if it's your buy phase, return to your action phase. Yeah. I think I just want to grab a livery. I think the horses are going to be good. I'll just grab laboratories and horses whenever possible. So will my opponent buy a potion? Moment of truth, they do. And I'm going to join them a little bit late, but I am going to join them and purchase a potion here myself as well. Menagerie seems interesting in this kingdom because you can have a hand with a bunch of different cards. Worst case scenario, it's just going to replace itself. Is there any way to get additional buys in this kingdom other than really just like university? Cavalry, you can purchase it for free, but that really doesn't give you additional buys other than itself. I think engineer is also pretty good in this kingdom. So that's really interesting. My opponent had 4, and then they cavalried. So they obviously had 5, but chose to go cavalry plus potentially menagerie. That's interesting. I'm just going to go for menagerie. I think I can pick up the cavalries on the last turn for cheap. This is awkward because... Wait, so what does Way of the Mule do? Yeah, I mean, I'm going to want a livery so that way I can gain a horse. And I think I'm just going to go for a laboratory here. It's awkward that I drew the potion in this same moment, but laboratory just gives us a horse. Changeling, no. I have a feeling Changeling's gonna start to be a little bit annoying eventually. My opponent already has their laboratory online. Maybe I should have just gone for it, but I don't know, wasn't feeling it. So I can just grab another menagerie here, but I think I'm going to, if I just Way of the Mule it, but I think I'm just going to want to play the card. Wow, okay, a total miss. Could grab an engineer here, but I think I'm just going to swallow my pride and just let that happen. All right, my opponent gets their second menagerie. Let's go for our menagerie, and then I'm going to laboratory, and hopefully I will be able to pick up a university here. My opponent's already bought 2 universities. Yeah, that's not making me feel super great right now. Way of the Mule is really kind of an awkward card. I think I'm tempted to pick up a university on this turn. I also really want more laboratories because if you buy the laboratories quicker than your opponent does, you really do get rewarded for that. Let's see if we hit. Yeah, like I could just buy a laboratory here. That's really tempting. Let's take some time off, though, and go to the university. Let's get our studies up, because there's just so many good actions in this kingdom, and with Orchard, it really does reward you for snagging those actions. We will be able to have a huge menagerie turn this turn, so that is pretty cool. My opponent's got a lot of stuff going on. I think horses and now universities they have 3 of. But we get to menagerie, so that is sweet. All right, then let's laboratory. I think we are going to start ripping through some horses here. The thing is, though, we can already just get 2 laboratories with this hand. Oh, wow. It would be cool to go university into, but there's no other way to gain additional action. So just go university. grab a laboratory. No, thank you. Livery. And gain another laboratory. I think I'm just going to turn this off for right now. I don't see the use of it just yet. My opponent is unlikely to purchase a laboratory this turn. I think I'm going to go for my second university. Oh, wow, they did get a laboratory. Oh, they had a livery as their last card. That's a pretty good last card to have. Let's grab our second university. I could have potentially grabbed the last laboratory there, and maybe this will prove to be wrong. But there's so many horses in this kingdom, too. Because they have all the universities. All right, so that was probably a mistake, just because the laboratories wind up being so important. Thank you very much, Kalari. We are 2-2 against H. Jill Fix right now. And they grab their third menagerie. Let's play laboratory. Laboratory. Now I think we start grabbing groundskeepers. And then you can grab islands once you have a few groundskeepers, I think. It's a horse first, actually. Rural carriage just duplicates an action, right? That's fine. I think we're going to want that, because the thing is we can't like get in 3 of every action. The game's just going to end too quick. So I think we just want groundskeepers. I thought I just turned that off. And then let's go ahead and just grab another groundskeeper. I think that's going to be the next thing that everybody wants to be grabbing here. I do need one more university myself as well for 3 victory points. My next university is a duchy. All right, my opponent is looking really good this game. They've got 3 of every action, basically. They're just ripping through their horses. The 4-3 split was a little bit awkward for us this game. All right, they ripped through all of the groundskeepers. We only need one more groundskeeper, but groundskeeper is good. Let's play laboratories first. I do want another university. I could just grab a groundskeeper here and then university. Save the horse. That seems fine. Okay, let's grab another groundskeeper. And then grab my third university. So we're only 1 pile behind my opponent. And that is because they have 3 menageries and we do not yet. But if the... Oh my gosh. There's all the laboratories. Yeah, there's so many horses in this game, too, that I think if you want to draw everything, you're going to be able to. Interesting, interesting. So my opponent runs out the groundskeepers, and now next turn, they're potentially looking to groundskeeper and then, like, run through the islands or something like that, which is really strong. But we potentially... I was going to say we potentially have more horses in our deck, but my opponent bought that cavalry early, and that's really letting them churn through the deck. And now they buy a potion, too, to stay additionally on top of things. So we've really got to make this one work. If we horse, then we can menagerie. If we horse with Way of the Mule. So let's do that. Then we can menagerie. Draw what is like hopefully soon to be our whole deck. Okay, we need to find multiple universities, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, there's our labs. All right, so now we can university livery and then university again, which will allow us to gain horses off of the university. And I'll probably buy another province as well. Let's start with a horse. Okay, so now I go... Oh, wow. I actually need one more coin right now, which is kind of crazy. Oh, no, I have one more coin. Oh, so I have exactly 8. Okay, so this is perfect. I go university, grabbing, and I think I just grab an island here because that's going to give me additional victory points. I thought I said always no. Never exchange. I don't know. All right, then we livery. Now we can university again, grabbing another island. Livery. University again, grabbing another island. So I grab 2 victory points off of all of that. And then I autoplay my treasures by a Pravi. And I am now beating my opponent by 11. But I think I also just gave them potentially the keys to the kingdom, which I'm nervous about. No, they university. Oh, but they didn't have the groundskeeper yet. Okay. Hold on now. So I'm beating my opponent by 6. So all I have to do is use my 3 universities on all of the islands. I think we've done it. Oh, these groundskeepers have to find us horses. There's the horses. University. All right, so we need to groundskeeper first. This menagerie is never going to trigger, but we need to draw every card in our deck. So let's play all these cards. We need to find our last university off of this menagerie. To win. All right, let's see if we got it. We did not. But I think what we do here regardless is university for island, livery, university for island by Pravi. University for island. That gives us 2 for groundskeeper. Then we livery. Then we university for island, get 2 more victory points. It's basically worth 4 victory points, the island, plus we can grab it for free. So let's livery, then let's autoplay, and buy another Pravi, liverying again. And now we're beating my opponent by 22. That has got to feel great. 22, just 2 cards in this kingdom. My opponent can end this game very easily. The question is, does my opponent have the opportunity to play all of their laboratories, all of their horses? They're playing these cards as I'm saying them, all of their groundskeepers, and buy some provinces and earn enough victory points to find their way back into the game. This is going to be super close. They have so many groundskeepers. I've left them with 1 island. How many buys do they have? Grabbing this island is going to give them 5, but I'm up by 22. 22 is a lot. Do they have buys? They don't, right? There's no buys in this kingdom. So they can only buy 1 province. If they buy province island, that's 20. And I'm winning by 22. I think we've got it. And my hand looks good enough that I'm going to be able to win on my turn as well. University for the island, grabbing 5 victory points from groundskeeper. I'm currently up by 15. If they buy a province, they will gain 11 more, and I will be up by 4. At which point all I have to do is purchase the groundskeeper with university, and I win. I think it's locked. Let me just look. There's no way to get additional buys in this kingdom, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, the cavalry. They can tie it up. I don't know if my opponent is going to see this, but they can tie it up by purchasing 2 more cavalry plus a province. That will tie the game. This is their turn 14. It will tie the game. Yep, they go for cavalry. Wait, when you gain this or when you buy this? When you gain this, plus 2 cards. Oh, +2 cards and +1 buy. You can University for Cavalry. Oh, so they're just going to be able to buy 2 provinces now. Wow. All right, so they find it. They buy another Cavalry. So now they've got 3 buys. They've got 17 cards in hand. I don't think they've got that much, like, coin. So I don't know exactly how this all is going to translate. But they should just be able to buy, like, 3 estates. Each estate is worth a Pravi. So if they just buy 3 estates, I'm going to be in a world of hurt here. But I think my opponent has found it. University for Cavalry is actually really, really quite good. They're actually, yeah, they're going to be able to win. Because they are going to be able to purchase a groundskeeper and then a province or something. Yeah, so now they just buy an estate. And, oh, they didn't end it. Oh, they could have ended it, and they missed it. So we've got a shot here now. Wow, okay. We're probably not going to do anything with this island. We'll just Way of the Mule like my opponent did. That was good tech there. So let's start with laboratories and groundskeepers. Drawing all these cards. So we can University for Cavalry, and that draws us 2 cards. And gives us a buy. All right, well, that's pretty crazy. So it's Cavalry. We hit a horse, so we get to keep going. And then we missed. So now we can play this stuff out. All we have is 1 groundskeeper. I think that's going to mean that there's no... Well, does Cavalry send us back to our... It does. Cavalry sends us back to our action phase. So we're going to Way of the Mule these. Okay. So this brings us back to our action phase. So we are not out. I think this lets us keep going even a little bit more so. And then maybe we can get there. Doesn't seem likely. But this is going to give us 4 victory points, so that's cool. That puts us to 59. We get a horse in our deck. We draw 2 cards. We hit a groundskeeper and a cavalry. Let's start with the groundskeeper. No. So now I think we have to buy another cavalry and hope to somehow yet again... Yeah, find more horses and laboratories and stuff. All right. Let's see what we can do. Cavalry. Livery. Cavalry. All right, so now we University for Cavalry. This is all pretty crazy. We're getting horses, so if we ever get through the deck, we would be in an insane spot. But unfortunately, this looks like the end of the road here. Yeah, so we've got 3 buys. I don't think there's any way out of this at this point. Maybe my opponent just totally misses, though. So let's not fully give up hope because we have so many horses on the next side of our deck, right? Or no, we've got a bunch of cavalries. Yeah, my opponent definitely made out well with all the universities in the early game. Okay. We're gonna just end our buys there, but maybe there's a shot. Maybe we got a shot right now. Okay, my opponent leading with the groundskeepers. Then come the laboratories. Then did they actually trigger their menagerie? Wow, they actually triggered their menagerie 10 draws deep into the deck. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, now they can just buy out all the cavalries. Oh, my opponent said they forgot the last groundskeeper, so they thought they could... They just didn't realize that they didn't end the game. GG. Wow. We did a good effort there on our opponent, but they were able to find some really cool lines. So right now we are 2-3 against HGL Fix, but if we can win this next one, probably can't win the league at this point, but we can still put up a good run and get second place in the league potentially. At the very least, we're having fun. We're doing some powerful things here. So I'm just telling my opponent that I didn't see the University for Cavalry play before my opponent did it. We've got another Groundskeeper board here, and my opponent up on the play. We've also got another Cavalry board. Let's take a look at the Kingdom in full. So Salt the Earth, you can trash a victory from the supply. Trade, you can trash 2 cards from your hand and gain a silver per trashed card. Familiar is really good. Yeah, that was a great game. You missed some other really great games too, Kalari. This match has been a really fantastic one, despite my opponent getting the better of us currently. But Familiar is really powerful, and powerful enough to pick up a potion. Cavalry, we just saw. My opponent is going to go for the potion and the Familiar. So, yeah, I mean, first buys in this kingdom are really just going to be potion silver, regardless of how you split it, unless you decide that you don't like that you want the Cavalry or something. But I think that we're just going to grab a silver and a potion as well here. Other big things, let's see, Contraband. It's pretty awkward. Contraband's pretty awkward not even in a 2-player game, just in any game. So yeah, both of us are going to have silver potion in our deck, and I am going to totally miss, which is super annoying, but my opponent misses as well. So we've both missed. So there we go. We now have 6 here. I assume that my opponent has the same thing, because there's nothing that you can buy with 2 in this kingdom. So both myself and my opponent skipping our 3rd turn here. See if HGL Fix has something better for the 4th turn. Gatekeeper is really good and interesting against Familiar, because it just makes it that much more difficult for your opponent to get access to Familiar. I don't think Rebuild is that strong early game. Maybe I'm wrong. There's just like a strategy where you rebuild and just buy estates, and I know that there's like some math concerning that, but I think I'd rather just go for Gatekeeper. It's like a gold, but oh my gosh, and we get the 2 potion, 2 estate, or 2 copper, 2 estate potion hand yet again. So that is really awkward. Hoping that my opponent got the same thing. No, they got Rebuild. So can't have an awkward hand with that, but they're going to rebuild their estate into a duchy. So they're beating us so far, and then they go ahead and grab a Cavalry and do nothing else. I'm just going to end my turn. Nothing else I can do. And my opponent grabs the first Familiar, so we were unable to Gatekeeper that Familiar. Let's see. We can Groundskeeper, do the full keeping strategy. Throne Room, I don't know. Like, it seems too early to grab Groundskeeper here. What does Haunting Woods do? Till your next turn, whenever they buy a card, they put their hand onto their deck. The start of your next turn, plus 3 cards. So whenever they buy a card, they put their hand onto their deck and they exile. Almost willing to just like trade, but I don't know. What does Scholar do? Discard your hand plus 7 cards. The only way to get additional actions in this kingdom is Throne Room. So maybe I just grab Groundskeeper and then I potentially grab Throne Rooms later on. Yeah, like this turn I can just grab a throne room, play a gatekeeper to set up. My opponent has a province in their deck, so it's a little bit scary. That's a little bit annoying. But let's just gatekeeper and then trash a silver. And finally, I'm able to buy a familiar here. I am going to have a gatekeeper this turn, but I don't think that that is really going to help us too much. My opponent... My opponent plays a cavalry, which gives them 2 horses. The first one goes into exile. The second one discards the other one from exile. Oh, and of course on my familiar turn, I also am gatekeeping. So I'm wasting a whole bunch of gold here. But I really want a familiar. Start trying to curse my opponent. I'll be able to get another one this turn too, which is sweet. We'll see. We'll see how good the rebuild strategy is for my opponent here. I just feel like it's something you can do in the late game, and it's not something that you have to worry about in the early game. So we'll see if I'm wrong with that or not. Is my opponent just going like cavalry plus familiars? Maybe that is good enough, huh? They buy a duchy, so now they're just going to start naming province. We do get to curse them once. So that's sweet. And we keep getting these hands with 3. They will be able to salt the earth late in the game too. We are grabbing all of the curses. And that's partially because my opponent is using the horses just to cycle through their deck. So yeah, that's pretty good. I am feeling like the game is ending sooner rather than later. And I may want to consider buying a rebuild now. Oh, though, I've got enough to just buy a Pravi. Yeah, I guess that's an awkward spot, huh? Wow, and just getting these absolutely terrible hands. I think that the luck has not been on my side in this game for sure. I mean, my opponent is doing cool stuff with cavalry, but it doesn't feel like I ever had a chance. I have to skip all my turns. All my big turns are the same ones that I've played the gatekeeper on. So yeah, this one just doesn't feel particularly close right now, unfortunately. I'm going to get a rebuild, I suppose, though it does feel like this game is donezo. We'll see what we can do. Familiar, yeah, I'm at 3 and my opponent's at 18. So I think we've lost this one. I think that's going to make it pretty tough to win the league, but I'm going to do my best not to demote in this league. That is going to be my goal from now on. And honestly, like I've done some... We did some cool stuff this game. That's what I was going to say. So I don't feel super bad about everything that's happened. I feel terrible about how this game actually played out, because it feels like I'm just drawing absolutely terribly. My opponent's just going to go full green now and run all of the victory point piles. The curses are gone. The duchies are almost gone. I'll gatekeep, and then I suppose I'll buy an estate because it comes with a free victory point. I know we're in risk of the game ending soon. Like, my draws have just been so terrible. All of them. I guess I should have just started buying estates. Oh, I do have 2, so I can buy a duchy this turn at least. I don't know if duchy or rebuild is better. Doesn't really seem like there's any possible way I could get back into this game. But let's just buy the duchies, and that way we can name province off our rebuild and maybe flip the duchies into provinces. Let's draw a card. 4. What can we do? We can salt the earth. I don't know if any of this is even good for me. Removing victory points seems pretty terrible for me right now. But it does feel like I need victory points in my deck. Maybe I throne room, rebuild, and get some crazy turn where I just pop off. A rebuild's only worth 3 victory points if it hits a duchy. Sure. 3 copper. This one ain't it. This one definitely is not it. Opponent buys another rebuild. Let's go ahead and grab another silver here. All right, so we will be able to rebuild this turn. I name province. I hope to hit my duchy, turn the duchy into a province. If I can do that 5 times, which is impossible, then I will be able to come back. But there's only 4 provinces. So even if I get every victory point that currently remains in the game, 12, 24. All right, so the game is mathematically winnable. All right, I have to name a state here. Hope that I hit my duchy. No, I hit my province. That's fine. That's totally fine. And there's my duchy. It was the right play because estates just trash into estates and end the game quicker. But there's really nothing I can do on this one. So I think I just messaged my opponent that it is sad that we are ending on our worst game because we did have some good ones. We did have some really fun ones in this thing. My opponent skipping their turn. We have skipped more than our fair share of turns here. I'll just buy an estate and then my opponent can buy the estate and finish it off. Doesn't matter. They can, yeah, they actually could have just grabbed the estate there and won, but they're actually going to double rebuild first and turn 2 duchies into 2 provies and beat us 35-12. So there we go. GG's, though, to my opponent. And with that, H-Gill Fix is definitely the winner of our league. I'll see if I can pop it up there. How this all works. So let's see, popping open the so these are the current standings. Once these load up, and so my win rate was 50%. But now I'm going to be 11 and 13 and 11.5 and... Or sorry, I'm going to be 11 and 13. So I will be slightly below Cowering Cow here. And then Cowering Cow's our last opponent. So, yeah, we'll be 11 and 13 going into that. And that game is going to be pretty important. Between myself and Cowering Cow. It will basically determine, this match was determining who could win this league, but now my match against Cowering Cow will be determining who loses this league, because both myself, Cowering Cow, and then also Kartik could wind up being the loser of this league. So I will need to get 2 wins, and Cowering Cow will need to get 1 win. So if we do something like go 3 and 3, then that will make Kartik the loser. But if either of us are able to completely shut out the other player, then that will mean that Kartik lives on and is not the loser of League H13. So yeah, it'll be interesting now to see how that develops. That is going to be it for this video. I'm still determining if I want to end the stream. I think I am, because it's already pretty late. This was just kind of a late stream that I was able to make work, and that worked with H-Gill Fix's schedule as well. No clue when I'm going to be playing Cowering Cow. It's probably going to be a pretty weird time compared to when I normally play, but Yes, yeah, suggesting that I win for sure, but I only have to win. Actually, I only have to win one game. That really takes the pressure off, right? Because I've won one game against everybody. I won 2 games against H. Jill Fix. I won 1 game against Super Nick. I did not realize until right now that you could hover over this and see everyone's scores. But all I have to do is get 1 win, and that will beat me again on tiebreakers against Kartik. So yeah, just 1 win. That seems easy enough to do. So I think I'll do that. And that'll be it for me for now. I'm going to stop the YouTube video at least. And yeah, that'll... if you want to see the Twitch, my game against Cower and Cow, which will determine my fate in this league, I will also say that I suggest that you head on over to twitch.tv/NoLucksGiven and figure out what you got to do there. Follow along, hit the bell, and you'll be able to watch along with my final match for the season. This has definitely been my toughest one yet, but we've also had some really fun games as this match has shown. So that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for the follow and the bits as well. I do appreciate that a lot. That's definitely encouragement to keep trying to do this, keep trying to stream, and had fun with the games as well. So it was a pretty good stream and pretty fun stuff. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.